Today. Today. As we start the show, this one mic. We hail. Throughout the stadium, there is a pause throughout the stadium as this man sounds like he just coughs up a lung. Just looking around, the Jumbotron shows and pans the cheerleaders, and as it goes down each cheerleader's face, each one breaks up into laughter, which at this particular time destroys half the stadium. The other half is still trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Does this guy need CPR or something? And then at that particular time, I lost it. Devon's brother. Yes, today.
Blog Talk Radio.
Start the show, this one mic.
Phoenix is another place. They got a great training staff. They were able to breathe life back into Shaq. And if you can do that, people talk a lot about their training staff.
Blog.
Yes, today, as we start the show, this one mic.
Yes, today, as we start this show, this one mic. Oh, we back in it. And hey, ain't gonna be no jokes about 50 on this one. We ain't messing with that. We don't watch enough Power. But we will talk about the Super Bowl and the halftime show and all that. There's a lot going on in the world of sports. I just had to rip up the rundown. I'm just like, stuff just bubbling up. I'm like, we might end up freestyling on this. But before I get started, please go to realsportsguys.com. Support us. All the stuff. We got stuff on there, a lot of content on there. Please check us out. I want to thank our friends from Bowman Medical Group and Mind Match for sponsoring this episode here. We're going to be talking about a lot on the rundown. If you got to know, we try to divide it up into kind of a couple different segments so you can see. We try to have an open mic cipher. We try to, drop the mic. Shout out to Hank. I did get a text from him at some point. We trying to get him closer and closer. It's like trying to get Kyrie, but we'll get there. We're going to make it work. But let me jump in and get my guys going. We got my man. I just about to go hammer time on it. He dropped off like the board of trade. See, he's down in Chicago. I hope they didn't nip him, y'all. So we'll go to you. Hopefully he's coming back. We'll get him back in the mix. But hey, Darnell, how you doing?
I'm doing great. There's a lot of things going on in the sports world and stuff outside of sports world too. And I'm just ready to, ready to get into it.
I know you got your spiritual fullness tonight. You kind of getting going on that. We're gonna try to see if we can bring Hammer back into the mix here. We're gonna get everybody going.
Technical difficulties. Excuse me.
Oh yeah, that's it, boy. He understands something. They don't cut us off down there in Shy Village. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, brother. Yeah, surprised. I thought I might not be able to make it because of down campus, but ended earlier. So yeah, I'm here, ready to rap, man. We got a lot to rap.
I feel you. Well, there's a lot going on. Well, let's start off a little bit with a little bit of NBA. So we had Ben Simmons had his press conference where he was speaking in secret messages and about everything else, but it was clear that he was going through something. Then we got James Harden showing up, with I don't know what suit he was wearing, but the trade is official. They showing up where they showing up. Let's talk a little bit, Hammer. How do you see this thing playing out in Brooklyn? Now that this trade has been going on, what do you see happening there in Brooklyn in terms of Ben Simmons being there? Do you see they're going to be able to pull this thing together, or what are your thoughts?
It depends on Simmons. I mean, apparently he's been in therapy all year. I don't, minimize therapy. The man's gone through. I mean, we might think he's overblown this because he's a multimillionaire, but again, he's gone through a lot of problems at Philadelphia, a lot of disrespect, a lot of feeling of not belonging, and now he's getting an opportunity. So he's got to show up and show out, especially defensively. I think it's what got he can get him offense, and Steph Curry as well as Drummond's gonna be nice with KD. So I think that definitely I think Brooklyn won the deal. I mean, the thing about it, just Kyrie's a wild card, and but again, we'll see what Nash is going to do. We'll see what the young man does. Simmons got a chance to, reverse the narrative on him as far as being a selfish player and immature and not ready for prime time. And it's going to be interesting. But Philly's getting killed tonight. But again, that's the thing that we'll see what happens, man. It's just there's a lot of wild cards there. I mean, with Kyrie probably come back full time, and they're going to drop this the vaccine mandates soon. But yeah, it's going to be wild, man. But go Bulls. That's all I have to say. So.
Well, I would say, I think the sneaky part of that deal was the Seth Curry part. I think he adds so much part. I mean, I can't believe they let him go, but they had to let somebody.
He was a must in the deal. He had to be in the
deal. That's a sneaky part that continues to allow Ben just to be Ben. Like Ben, with this team, he don't have to really worry about whether or not he shoots or not. Just be Ben. Because everybody else got everything else covered. It's going to be.
He don't play defense. He don't play defense. Yeah. No.
Lockdown.
He had to be the deal for that reason. Yes.
Yep. And if they see Philly, he going to be on James, and it's going to be interesting. And so, I think if you can get a full-time Kyrie, which is going to be critical, then you're going to be in good shape. Youngin on the Philly side, what do you see on the Philly side of this deal?
Well, on the Philly side, first of all, the first thing I got to say is LeBron and KD bullied James Harden out of not playing because I know, we all know James Harden ain't hurt. James Harden don't got no hamstring injury. We saw James Harden at practice today doing step backs and stuff. You ain't doing step backs when you try to rehab a hamstring injury. Come on now. They bullied him out of playing in the All-Star game because Chuck said, you know what, he got traded, so now he's healthy. So now he want to sit out to save face. But the whole thing is comedy because we saw in the game today, Joel Embiid tried to do a double step back just like Harden and he got called for traveling. But I think it's an upgrade. James Harden is definitely an upgrade over what they had because Simmons he just wasn't playing. But my issue with this team is what I know Harden is an upgrade as far as from a talent perspective, a skill set perspective, but as far as style of play, will they mesh? Will he disrupt the flow of things going on? Because James Harden loves to hold on to that ball. He'll pass it, but he loves to pound, he'll dribble it 12 or 13 times before getting the shot up or moving the ball. So we'll see because Joel Embiid usually he hasn't really been a role big, like a come down lob threat kind of guy. But we did see a couple games ago when he yammed on Jared Allen. That showed you some potential of what that could be once James Harden is here. But we're going to have to wait and see. This is a trade that you're not going to know the outcome 3 games. You're not going to be like, Brooklyn's on a 3-game winning streak. Philly's on a 3-game losing streak. Brooklyn won the trade. No. You're going to have to wait. You have to wait a while to see to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I agree. I think if James can allow Embiid to get 25% more easy buckets, meaning you just got to catch and put it in, to the fact that he doesn't have to work as hard to get to some of those points. That's gonna add some miles onto his legs, where he just got to catch it and finish. We know he can create, we know he can step back, but James making the game easier on them, and then I think being able to manage his minutes. I really, one of the things I was going back and forth with my man Damon Williams, and we were talking about Boston, and a lot of the puzzle that some of these coaches miss is the ability to create something with the second unit. What makes Harden really good when you do it right is Harden's that guy you can put with a second unit. And, maybe there's something that he's rolling with Tobias Harris, or maybe you got, a big that he can really, there's ways in which you can really expand time and then manage Embiid's minutes and still have his effectiveness by what you allow James to do with that second unit, which then can make him feel like he's still in Houston, right? He can get into his Houston mix. And that can really be beneficial down the stretch of the season, but also can allow for Embiid to really be at his best and not, really stretching from a minute standpoint. And I think some coaches miss that opportunity. I think Doc Rivers is going to take advantage of that,
And that's
with James Philly.
and that's a big knock that has been on Doc Rivers because people have been saying that he doesn't he doesn't like to stagger his lineups, and
Yeah,
that's something he has to do with his team.
yeah.
But be careful if we get in the playoff time, we see a lineup out there with Cork Moss and Shake Milton and all the second unit guys and Embiid and Harden are both on the bench at the same time. Don't say I didn't warn you, but
That
that's
should
one thing.
never happen. But if that happens, that's going to be a problem, right? So it comes down to that kind of management. The question in Brooklyn is, do you have confidence in Marks and Nash? Like, this is the same question I asked in Boston with Brad Stevenson. Like you look when it came time to manage personalities, to manage things at a championship level, you could say Brad Stevenson struggled when he had Kyrie, and like there's a way in which you got to manage this stuff. And I thought Marks had done an excellent job. I had questions Nash because I think he got a pass on some things, but the way this thing unraveled had as much to do with how they managed the situation. Do you think they're gonna pull it together?
Well, and personally, I believe that I believe that in Nash's coaching because I think the system, the way that it flows. One thing that I did hear today was behind the scenes that Kevin Durant was for the free flowing, pass and cut kind of offense, and James Harden just wanted the ISO, and that's why they butted heads. But in this free flowing offense, I think they can really thrive as an offense. And that should really carry them. And I think that the real X factor for Brooklyn is going to be, will Joe Harris be able to come back? And what can he give you when he does come back, if he does come back? Because I heard.
Well, I think that's why the Seth Curry was
yeah, that's
to
why.
fill in.
Yeah,
I think Seth Curry
that's
was
why
like,
he was a
if he don't
must.
come back, Seth will give us what Joe got us and probably
But
more.
then at the same time, if he does come back, if you can have Seth and Joe Harris
Yeah.
on the court with Kyrie, KD, you know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, you have tons of shooting. You know what I'm saying? Well, I guess that would be more of a lineup if say Kyrie is still a part-time player and now you have a lineup with Durant as the offensive initiator, and now you have Harris and Curry out there shooting the ball with Simmons on the court as well. You know what I'm saying? That could be a direction that you can go into that could be interesting.
And now this trade went by, and then you look up, and Boston gone on a little win streak. They get what, Derek White in the trade?
They got
I
Derek White.
like
It's a great
that.
move for them. Yeah.
And I think that's a really good move. You seem like they're finding, both the superstars are finding them ways. Hammer, you would love this. I was, Damon likes to, Williams, he likes to break. He sent me the text breaking it down like Hubie Brown, going back and forth about the two dominant young players and the statistics. I was going back and forth, but I like when I watched the Derek White piece. I like the role that Derek plays there on there, and I like the fact that what I like about these two young guys, they both can play it on both ends of the court and bring the defense, and their defense seems to be going up over these last 6 or 7, 8 games. What do you think about Boston? I know we're going to talk about your Bulls in a minute, but we're moving here at the break. What do you see? Yeah. We always say you got to bring up the young guys.
Derek White accentuates. I mean, Smart got hurt tonight, so I don't know how bad his injury is. But no, Derek White's a great two-way player, really unsung in San Antonio. And, really I was surprised. Well, I shouldn't be. I mean, he had a cheap contract, and they got value for him. So I think Pops is trying. I mean, I saw San Antonio play. Got some nice guys, Javonte Murray, and, people like that, Primo, at San Antonio, young cats. So, yeah, you get rid of someone like Derek White, you get assets for him. But the bottom line is Derek West is going to accentuate, the tandem of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And Williams, I think it's a really good move, especially if Smart's out for a while. It's going to be really good. And he just gives, like I said, it's a two-way flowing player with great skill set that Derek White has. And this is a guy, his story. This guy was D2, and then went to Colorado 1 year and balled out. So he's hungry, even though he's got a nice contract now, but he get a nicer one with Boston. So it's a nice move by Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens, the GM, is not that bad. So.
Yeah, Brad Stevens, GM, is making a little money moves right there. So it's you start to see them heat up. People still sleeping on Milwaukee. But then we got them Bulls trying to get their act together a little bit. So the East is bubbling up a little bit over here, while the West Coast
he ain't bubbling up. He's hot, bro.
While the West Coast, Golden State, Young, explain to me, Golden State is on a slide. What's going on over there?
You talking to me?
Yeah. What's going on with Golden State?
They on a wait. Let me see.
They on the. This is a man said I don't need a rundown. Well, Golden State was on the slide.
How many games they lost in a row?
Well, they lose like
because I feel like I just watched them a couple of days ago and I saw them.
They won because Clay went off. I think they lost a couple in a row before they won that LA game. Yeah,
that's where I just watched Clay go off a couple.
Yeah, that was.
So I don't think.
I think they lost 11.
No,
Brooklyn
lost 11, bro. You got the wrong.
It ain't no Golden State.
Golden State lost a couple in a row.
More than a couple in a row because they had like 5 or 6 in a row. It was because Steve Kerr was like, we're struggling this defense, turn the ball over.
No, I have.
They lost a few more games than you think.
No, they didn't. No, I have it up right now.
2 in a row, D. Wills.
They lost 2 games in a row.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
On, man.
I thought it was more than that.
No.
It might seem like 5 with them because that's GSW, but no, they lost 2 in a row, and people started.
Been balling. I don't know.
Clay went off. Yeah.
They lost just those 2 games. They lost to the Jazz. I remember I was watching that game live. They got blown up by the Jazz. They lost to the Knicks. But then before that, they was winning games. They beat the Spurs, Rockets, and Kings. They're on a 4-game. They're on like a 6 or 7 game winning streak before that.
Yeah,
they're not sliding. The Warriors will be fine.
I thought they had a little longer something on this.
It was 2 games. It was 2 games. Then people also they almost gave away the Laker games. That's what you're talking about. The narrative.
Yeah.
They were on the down, but they weren't that down. No. They were in Brooklyn 11 in a row.
No, the thing is, they don't have other than Kevon Looney, they don't have a big right now. We got news today.
Wiseman's on 5-5. Wiseman's coming back.
We got news today that James Wiseman, he's been cleared for 5-on-5.
Yeah, he's coming back.
He was playing 3-on-3 before the Lakers game. So he's finally breaking through that threshold because before, I think the setback with him was they were getting to this point where he could go through contact and he just his body wasn't responding to it. But now he's able to do 5-on-5 and hopefully they'll have him back soon. But one thing about the Warriors, Kuminga has been playing very well, and if they can continue with his development, like he's a big physical body, great athlete. He's not like he's just learning how to play. Like you can tell Draymond, Clay, all of them, they've been in his ear. So he's been learning. He's a fast learner. He cuts without the ball, and that's one thing. Like when you're in this system where this ball moving system, these guys really are learning how to play like the fundamental. They're learning fundamentals. So like you watch the Lakers game, Kuminga had 18 points and he only dribbled the ball 5 times. I mean, he's really putting pressure on the defenses, and that is a very valuable thing to add when you have when you playing with Steph and Clay. And if you ask me, that's something that a guy like Russell Westbrook, he got to look at that and start to add that aspect into his game because I think that'll make him more effective.
But the thing about it feels like the Warriors, but they still are sometimes loose with the ball in key moments. And like I already told you about Steph and losing the ball. I mean, he did a behind the back pass, like and I'm thinking, see, that stuff's gonna get you against Phoenix. That's the stuff that's gonna get you down the stretch. I was going back and forth with it, and I just watch him. I could see the frustration on Kerr's face, but he just got to live with it. But you can see the frustration on it.
I think the Warriors are good. I think the Warriors will get Phoenix because I think Phoenix is they're such a sound team. I feel like they do everything right, but at the same time, I don't think that Phoenix has the gear that Golden State can get to. Like when Golden State is clicking, I don't think Phoenix can match that.
Yeah, but I think part of it is I think they defend so well on the wings, and you got Chris Paul doing what he does, and they got their own firepower. Don't get it twisted. Booker and them can go at it. Plus the big fella. I mean, I ain't sleeping on the depth.
No, they can, but nobody on planet Earth gets harder than Klay Thompson.
Yeah, but Klay, like y'all living in 2017, 16 Klay.
No, I'm not.
I watched Klay.
Did you watch the Kings game? I watched it. I watched the whole Kings game.
He giving flashes. He's supposed to give you flashes. He gonna give you some flashes, but don't get caught up in a series. Don't get caught up in a series.
You don't know who my OG is. My OG was Terry Durod. The shooting is a skill that don't go away.
But knees are, feet are, legs are.
About 2 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, you look good now.
He got limited minutes too. Remember, he got limited minutes too.
They bumped it up. He just played 30 minutes for the first time.
Man, that's still limited, man. You need for a guy to be ball.
And he had 30. He had 30 points.
40. You need 40 from him. You don't need no 30 from him.
He had 30 points in 30 minutes.
Oh, I know what he had.
But playoff series are totally different.
40,
than playing 30 minutes against probably 30 minutes against Sacramento. And then you follow up with 28 against Portland.
And he got insurance. And the thing about the Warriors that they got depth and it's strength in numbers. They got insurance for Klay because Klay's not going to have to. He's not going to have to take on the defensive role that he did back in his prime because now they got Gary Payton the second. I just figured out he's not Gary Payton Jr. because Gary Payton got two kids named Gary Payton. Gary Payton Jr. and Gary Payton the second. So I guess he's Gary Payton the second. And now you got Kuminga. Kuminga can take on some guys too. You can throw him at somebody. So now you got options where Klay he can rest at sometimes and then.
I'm looking at Mikal Bridges. I'm looking at Crowder. I'm looking at DeAndre Ayton. I'm looking at Devin Booker. I'm looking at Chris Paul. I'm looking at Cameron Johnson. I'm looking at JaVale McGee. Yeah. I mean, they not coming in here like they don't got nobody.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said they're solid.
JaVale McGee might be the one. JaVale McGee might be the one to turn it.
The gears are different, man. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if the gears are that different. They don't face them head to head. They just put 127 on the Bulls.
Yeah, and the Bucks. Whoop the Bucks.
And the Bucks.
Yeah. Beat it like they drove something. Yeah, man. I watched the whole game. It was embarrassing, man. They couldn't stop them.
I want to ask y'all a question. We're going a little freestyle because I just need to get your opinion. Where's Utah in this mix? Like, Utah sitting here, quiet storm, but I don't feel like they got it. Like,
there's no dog in Utah. That's the problem. No dog.
They've been dealing with injuries because it's either been Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert. Either one of them, they've been without one of them for large stretches. But that's another team. They're a well-oiled machine. But with Ingles out, you're missing a piece defensively, and
they just traded Ingles, right?
He's traded. But he wasn't going to play regardless. But
there's no dog in him, man. There's no dog in him, dude.
Hammer, do you think the window's closed?
I disagree with that.
I think it's closed.
I'm
gonna make a hot take. I think Utah's gonna sit there. For the next 3 or 4 years, they're gonna be in it, but they no real threat.
Yeah, the window is closed, but I'm saying, but I'm not gonna say they don't have a dog in it because Donovan Mitchell, he's one of those cats.
He does. I'm talking about the whole team. I'm talking about one cat.
He's a player.
But dogs, not one dog.
But you have Michael.
You got a pit bull against 5 pit bulls.
You from Chicago. You from Chicago.
5 pit bulls gonna win, right?
I'm saying you from Chicago, so you watch Michael Jordan. You watch Michael Jordan when he was young.
You can't have 1 against 5, bro.
They didn't have dogs. They had a dog, and he can push you, and he's gonna bring it with him. I'm saying I'm not gonna say they're gonna win it all, but I'm saying they're gonna compete because they have a dog on their side. That's what I'm saying.
Not against 5 dogs. Some of these cats got 5 dogs. Man, one pit bull ain't that bad. That's a bad pit bull. You think they're on 5 too? 5 pits. That's a bad pit bull, man. Like,
I've seen the arguments to do it.
That type of cat, he can't be in that society, man. You gotta be in the pound or worse, because you got a pit bull take on 5 pit bulls. Shoot, man. But no, I just don't think they had a dog in them, man. I just don't respect them that way, man. They're laissez-faire. I'm talking about Mitchell. I'm talking about the team. I'm talking about Mitchell. And then Gobert, not impressed with him. Sometimes, he'll look dominant. Sometimes he'll disappear. So, yeah.
So we at the break. It's All-Star Weekend. I always recommend it. Hey, if y'all ever have a chance to go to any kind of event that's sports related, NBA All-Star Weekend is it. I mean, the from Thursday until Sunday, just in my own experience, it's been years ago. I'm about to get back into the mix, but it is the event. It's the who's who is in that space. So if you ever have something to go to, it's NBA All-Star Weekend. I think they got it. They know how to do this thing. But we're at the break. And we're gonna go to we got some stuff happening at the break. So let's talk a little about All-Star Weekend. Forget the game, but we got some stuff happening. And I wanted to, before we talk about what we think the second half might pull off, I wanted to look at, some of the contests, because the weekend is always big. Sitting down and checking out the contest. TNT does a really good job of covering this. I don't know if y'all had a chance to look at the rundown with the skills challenge we got here. We got the whole Antetokounmpo family. They don't change this thing up. Going up against Team Cavs, we got Team Rook. I mean, this is a good flavor right here. I don't even know who to root for. The interesting thing in the skills challenge is the big folks, the big fellas have been taking over lately. It's been interesting with the skills challenge with the big folks are going over. But if you had to put your money on somebody, if you had to say this is the team that's going to win, which one do you think got the advantage here? I've been trying to watch this thing. It's interesting. I'm trying to understand Jared Allen. I see him in the dunker spot doing what he's trying to do, but in the skill challenge, that's an interesting thing that they got Jared Allen. You got
Rondo. If I'm picking the rookies, because
you picking the rookies.
I'm picking the rookies because these are all playmakers right here. Josh Giddey, he's been putting up triple doubles on the low.
He balled. I saw him last night. Yeah.
Roddy Barnes can pass the ball. Cade Cunningham can pass the ball. They all athletic and long. These dudes are all 6'8". So when they if they got to run end to end, they can close distance in a short amount of time. So I think they'll be able to come home with it.
I agree with Darnell on that. Yeah.
I think the surprise on this might be the Antetokounmpos. Like when you family of brothers, you probably sitting around working on this kind of stuff on your own anyway. Y'all probably practiced since last summer, huh?
Jan's hurt right now though, so I don't know.
They have to come up with somebody else to step in on that one. No, all right, the 3-point contest. Who you got?
Zach. Shoot, next.
I got Desmond Bain.
He's a sneaky one. You said you got Desmond Bain?
Yep, Desmond Bain can shoot the ball. I got either him or Carlton Towns.
Big Cat is.
I gotta say something real quick about Carlton Towns. He's one of the most underrated shooters in history. This is a guy that is statistically he's the best center. He's the best jump shooting center of all time. Like he's a statistically you're talking about 3-point percentage, free throw percentage, all that kind of stuff. He has a higher 3-point percentage, higher free throw percentage, and stuff like that than Dirk Nowitzki. Like this dude, can shoot. He can shoot the basketball. So if a big's gonna do it, I got my money on Karl Towns.
None of y'all going with Trey? Wow.
Trey is a streak shooter.
You say he's a street shooter.
He's a street shooter, as D-Rod would say.
Mm. Mm. Ah. Yeah. I was gonna go with you with the big cat. I think he's a sleeper. Just because when you're in it, you don't got to jump that much. He used to shoot that way anyway. It's about how quick he gets around those balls. You know, Zach is an interesting sub because he's that kind of athletic. He can get there. He can get that lift in his shot. He don't have to really jump. But I'm gonna
He
go with
jumped
Luke
him at
Kennard.
that shot.
I'm gonna go with Luke Kennard. I think Luke. I think Luke gonna surprise him. Little lefty. I think Luke, still got that love from Detroit days. I'm gonna go with Luke. Surprise. Dunk contest. I already know I'm going with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi,
I saw it.
all
I
day.
ain't
All
pressing
day.
around. I ain't going up against him. I think all these other guys. The Cole Anthony one is interesting. I didn't know Cole was that much. I got him on my fantasy team. I was
He can get
surprised.
up, man.
He can jump like his daddy.
He can get up there.
Yeah.
He can get up. I saw him in
He
college.
might go because he got that build. That
Yeah,
build
he can get up
all
there.
the, all the angles. Yeah, he could be.
But I still Obi's a.
I'm
I
going
got Jalen
Obi-Wan
Green.
Kenobi, y'all. I
I
ain't
got
even
Jalen
surprised.
Green.
Huh?
Jalen Green. This is
He got the
somebody who
flair.
can up off the ground. Yeah, he has a swagger too. But I'm not interested in the dunk out of this anymore. I mean, this is. I feel like
We
we've
never had
seen
dunk
almost
contests
every
since
dunk.
Michael and
We've
Dominic.
seen almost every dunk since that can
Well,
be
that's
done.
not underrated. What was it? Zach LaVine was in it. What was a couple other cats?
Zach
Zach
LaVine, Aaron
LaVine won
Gordon.
it twice. I mean, yeah, he's won it twice.
I mean, these cats was coming out with let's not go through it all the way out. Like nobody bringing you nothing.
Yeah, but it used to be where they had stars. I mean, Jack LaVine wasn't a star when he was. I like to see the
I'm
old
past
stars.
that now. I just want to see somebody who can really dunk. And Obi, I've watched Obi Toppin up close and personal in game dunks, and I'm like, nah, this gonna be. He got something deep down. He done practiced. He gonna bring something to the. And I think Jalen Green is a show like a great a show. I mean, he likes the lights. I wouldn't be surprised this kid come out with something. So I ain't gonna. He might even make a tribute to Kenny Smith and do the between the leg, and come back. Kenny, even though Kenny was with the he was with the was it Sacramento Kings? What he did?
Kings,
Yeah, he went with the Rockets at the point. But
Hey,
I think these cats might be innovative.
none of these guys are Jason Richardson. Let's just say.
Oh my goodness, you killing me. You killing me, man. You killing me. All right, let's get to the cipher. Let's get to the real stuff. Man. The Super Bowl shuffle was something else. Just overall impressions. Darnell, I'll go to you, then come back to you, Hammer. Overall impressions of the game.
Overall impressions of the game. This was a game that played out like we thought it would. It played out. It was a battle of the trenches, but who knew that the Rams' offensive line would be just as bad as the Bengals' offensive line. They couldn't block the Bengals either. I did mention the Bengals' defensive line in my breakdown last week.
Yeah.
But with DJ Reader, Trey Hendrickson, and the crew, they showed up and they showed up. They held Cam Akers. They made Cam Akers look like he was at Florida State all over again. I remember when I watched Cam Akers at Florida State, it would be like, man, he ain't got nobody blocking for him, but he always make a couple moves where he could just get back to the line of scrimmage. It was like, but it was that kind of game. Like it was like yards were hard to come by at some point, and I think this game would have been a lot wider if Odell Beckham never got hurt because they were focusing on Cooper Kupp, and he was really punishing them with the crossing routes. So I think that was.
And I want to say you made this point, Young, and I want to say this: Cleveland fans, stop crying. This is what kills me: talk to Stefanski. If you're mad at somebody, I said you can find a way to get the ball to anybody you want to get to. I'm tired of these genius offensive coordinators being able to get out of the way of any kind of criticism, and yet we want to yell at Odell because he's over about to get this ring and y'all mad at him. Odell was balling. Now McVay, if he gets another, delay a game and there's some questions. Sometimes I'm thinking the Rams win in spite of him, but I'm gonna leave it alone. But you're right. Odell was on his game when he got hurt. That game changed dramatically. And that reader, my goodness, I mean, them cats was getting off the ball. I mean, they was hitting them. They was putting some helmets on folks over there. So that Bengals defense, I was impressed with the way they were playing. They did miss the face mask that was that Higgins did on the long touchdown run.
Yeah,
I love that. I was like, who missed that one? Somebody should get fired or fined. But Hammer, your overall thoughts in watching the game?
I was surprised at the Rams. I mean, I think the Bengals line really impressed me. They play well, but I didn't think they would play that well, especially against the run. I thought that Akers, especially that kind of triumvirate with. I just thought that I like McVay's play call. I thought that they could have utilized Michelle, Henderson, Akers more. I would have had more equity, among the backs, not just gone with Akers. I mean, it's amazing he came back from that torn Achilles, but yeah, it was surprising. Then, after OBJ went out, Cooper Kupp took over, especially that fourth down run. That guy in the MVP definitely, and just best offensive player in the game right now is Cooper Kupp, healthy and balling. So yeah, and like I said before, that Rams defense took over, but really, we got to give that credit for the Bengals offensive line. I mean, they held Donald in check for 3 quarters.
No, let me stop you there.
Until they move somebody over that center. Once they put somebody over that center and took away that double team, it was over.
Let me stop you there. Raheem Morris held Aaron Donald in check for the first half of the game because he had the genius idea of playing him at a 3 technique and then dropping the edge rusher to his side. So like the thing is, well, they have like a 5-man front, right? They do like a 5-2. So they'll have like the edge next to him. Like the edge next to him, they'll be like an outside linebacker. He'll drop into coverage. So now the center is already turning out because they want to slide to Aaron Donald. So he comes and it's a double team. But now since nobody's rushing the edge, the tackle comes down. Now it's a triple team. So that's why Aaron Donald was doing nothing. I have multiple screenshots on my phone of Aaron Donald being triple team because they have one of the pass rushers dropping into coverage.
Dude, I've seen dude beat triple teams though. Shoot. So man, still I give them credit. Man. They play,
That means other guys got to win.
At the end, like I said, the cream rises to the top, and that's what happened. So, Aaron Donald, hopefully that's not his last game, but he talking about it might be. So, so going on top. But no, I like I said, wasn't surprised the Rams won. Was surprised how they won. I thought they would be able to control the game more than they did. Stafford made some mistakes. So I was surprised at, but he did what he needed to do. I mean, the last drive also was questionable. Some of they decided to blow the whistle at the end of the game, which I thought was unfair as far as inconsistency goes. But that's football, man. I mean, cats.
I'll tell you this: the Bengals
and Vern Hargraves, the fourth, whoever he is, he need to go. He need to be banned from the league. That dummy. I mean, you run out and Simmons and Crocs and come on, man, Simmons and Crocs.
I'm like, what are you doing? Under what scenario was that okay?
You ain't even hurt. You ain't active. And like my man, Al Michael said, he might be active for forever. That's a shame. That brother. So much talent, but nothing upstairs. Apparently, that brother, man, he ran on the field like he was active.
Then the Bengals are gonna try to jump on. It was kind of like what Sally said about Rick Mahorn. It wasn't the Pistons fighting the Bulls. It was Rick Mahorn against all the Bulls. It was Aaron Donald against the entire sidelines, Bengals sidelines, and he just after that. It was clear you had him charged up. There were some moments.
That reminded me of when Isaiah Ryder was telling a story about when KG first got to the league and he poked the bear. He was telling Michael Jordan, you can't guard him. Come on, JR, go ahead. He can't guard you. He was like, hey, we don't talk. You know what I'm saying? We don't talk to him. And JR right there, we don't talk to him. That's what I thought about when they poked the bear. I was like, oh, y'all done made him mad. Y'all made AD mad.
Well, Joe Burrow came up short. The hard thing about it, these things don't come around that easy. People just think you can show up.
And Dan Marino.
Yeah, Dan Marino, and this is like, man, when you have a window like this, you have got to take advantage of it because these other teams are only going to get better. Their division is going to come back next year stronger. It's going to be interesting to see. They got some good pieces, and obviously they got some stuff they can hold together. Looks like they're going to. I think it looks like they're going to hold. Some of their coaching staff together. They got to do something about the offensive line. But that road just gets tough coming back now that people know who you are. They're gonna be. People gonna be in the offseason really studying you because you made a run. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that. The Rams, I think, can just. Depends on what happened with Aaron, but I think the Rams can just. I think they might be able to reload. And they'll get some players gonna get healthy. But I mean the Rams can be interesting.
Robert Woods coming back.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think OBJ is coming back though.
Well, he said he'll come back on a team friendly deal. He said that before he got
stay at the crib. Yeah.
So now that he got hurt, he got to take a team friendly deal. So I think it's more likely than not that he comes back.
And he gets to stay at the crib. He ain't got to go nowhere. I think he's gonna make it work. I think he enjoyed being there. He got an organization. I mean, sometimes it can't be all about the money. And you in LA, where you'll be able to get the he was already doing the commercials and getting the support. Now he don't got the
commercials now. Yeah.
Now he got the Super Bowl ring. I would team friendly deal is the way to go. Get that other money. Halftime show, y'all.
It was great except for 50 Cent. I mean, that was the surprise. It shouldn't have been, man.
Don't get us shut down.
It was the best of all time, but for 50 Cent. I saw him up there like Dick Bucket said, he's now like he's inflated now. He's like 74 cents. He's inflation.
Y'all leave 50. 50 took one for the team. That's loyalty. That's what I
mean. I give him credit with the creativity of having the guest, but it wouldn't have been him, man. It would have been like Nate Dogg and a hologram or something like that, but not 50 Cent, man. I was like, he trying to look like he had the club swole up, like, bruh, he ain't done a workout like that since the video.
See, but this is what I appreciate about this is at the end of the day, this is what we hope for all these cats growing up. The fact that they could be there for us. This was an opportunity to do it like folks did in rock and roll, where cats can come out later in their career, and I appreciate that to be able to see them, cats who got kids, and some cases maybe some grandkids. It was good to see him in that. He should have been upside down. They should just let him come on out. But I ain't gonna mad at 50. 50 looked like somebody who got mega deals happening out there, all them power stuff. He like somebody who making money like an executive producer.
Yeah, and he ain't bankrupt anymore. That's
he ain't bankrupt. He like the cat that's making plenty of money, and we allow that to happen. He used to have a 6-pack. He got a half-pack, but I'm cool with that. I want my MCs to grow old. Not just get shot 6 times and get shot. So I was happy to see that. But when he came down, I got scared. I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I was stunned. I was like, 50 Cent. I look at it, that's a turn me off. And then, but that's why I wasn't the greatest. I still go with Bruno Mars. Shoot, that was amazing.
I like Bruno, but he wasn't. But that wasn't the greatest. But I would take that over Bruno. Man, I ain't trying to. Bruno was going through too much mirrors and everything else. My head hurt watching him.
Was killing.
All right, young, and you young, looking at this stuff. What do you think about the halftime show?
Well, the question is, did the halftime show meet expectations? But Adam Blackstone always meets expectations. This is one of the best music directors in the game, out of Philly. He's working with the who's who. Everybody, the drums were cutting. come through the mix. Everything was sounding right, and I like the format, like with all the different artists coming out. And I think it fit well.
Yeah. See, this is the person with the music background, right? Musically
Yeah.
trained. Like he's the one on the show who does the music. So I have to go with the youngin on that. All right, we got some off-season stories going on. It looks like we're gonna have Indianapolis part ways with Carson Wentz, which I don't know if it's a good move. What they're thinking about it.
It's a great move, man.
I'll go back to you in a minute. I'm gonna start because I already know where you at on this one. Talk to me, youngin, about what you think. I don't think they got nowhere else to go but Carson Wentz. I just think that you in bed with him for at least one more year.
What other options are on the table? I mean,
Yeah.
does a guy like Aaron Rodgers want to come in? I mean, you got to at least look. I mean, yeah, I think if you got to weigh your options, everything got to be on the table.
But is this a coach that said I could work with him because I worked with him before? See, again, we bailing these coaches out. See, brothers getting fired after 1 year.
True.
And we are rationalizing. This coach brought him in because he said, hey, I worked with him. I can make it work. He come with you for 1 year, a decent year. You didn't make the good run. Now we're going to move on again?
He failed at the end. He failed near the end, man. He failed when it counted, man. That's why he's just not. I mean, there's the reason why Nick Foles won it instead of him, man. I mean, he's not a winner, man. I mean, he's just not. Again, I'm glad the Bears didn't trade for him. They're talking about trading for him. He's just not. He ain't worth the $28 million, the cap bid. No, I mean, he getting $15 million regardless of what happens. So give him his $15 million and tell him to get out. And somebody else is gonna pick him up. I mean, he's gonna mess around. BA might pick him up in Tampa Bay. He might.
I don't think they're gonna find anything better.
Man,
unless you get Aaron Rodgers, I don't think
you don't know Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray could be available. You don't know that.
I don't know about Kyler. Kyler over there on, I don't know what Kyler's smoking. Let's talk about Kyler. What's going on? It was all good just a year ago, Kyler.
Yeah, he claimed they disrespected him. They threw him under the bus after they got blown out by the world champion.
But Kyler, did they tell you to panic?
Now he's doing the Ben Simmons thing. So Kyle Murray's doing the Ben Simmons thing.
No, he's actually playing. I ain't gonna solve him and call Ben Simmons.
No, I'm saying before Ben Simmons stopped playing, this is what he was saying. He was saying that Doc Rivers.
Well, but this is a guy that was passing up jump shot, passing up layup. This wasn't that. The main thing is that, again, I think that with Kyler, he's a little he's too sensitive. It's a business. I mean, he was critiqued. I mean, he was not great down the stretch. He was hurt down the stretch. I mean, you got to take. I mean, he started off with a bang, had a great, first half of the season. Second half wasn't that good, and then the playoffs was trash.
He has everything that you would need. Well, that he would need, like everything that he should want. He has where he's at.
I don't know about that. I mean, I still think James Conner is. I mean, he had a lot of touchdowns, but I don't see him as being no solid.
They run an air raid system. The running back isn't that important to what they do. And James Conner, he's good enough. I mean,
they can do better, man.
I mean, if they keep Hopkins healthy, they'll be fine.
I like Drake better than him last year. I thought
Drake who?
Drake.
Kenyon Drake?
Yeah, better than him last year. Yeah, I thought he fit better.
I don't know.
He thought he fit better. I thought he fit better.
As
far as what you want to do, as far as you want a versatile player, I think he was more of a fit than. I thought it was a mistake letting him go to Las Vegas. But yeah.
I would say this: who, when you had your back in the end zone, told you to panic and throw the ball up in the air like it was a jailbreak? Like nobody on the team told you to do that. Like he was doing stuff that was on him. And that's the problem with some of this. Yeah, you could talk about situation people, but in that situation, it was pretty clear. You just needed to throw it away and get out of there. And he's trying to make some crazy play. I mean, like I said, he was doing the Steph Curry of football out there. Every once in a while, he just doing something, throw it up. You like, coach is scratching his head. So the problem I have with this is I'm not sure what he taking responsibility for.
He claims he was thrown on the bus. He was blamed for the loss. They got blown out, but
because you're the
I don't see
quarterback.
that.
You're
I
gonna
don't
get
see
blamed
that.
for the
Again, I
loss.
think
You're
it's
gonna get
sensitivity. Let me finish.
right.
I think it's sensitivity. I don't support the brother. I mean, I'm just saying that it's not a good situation when a guy clearly he ain't. When they start stripping the social media stuff, that's the ultimate diss.
They gave
And
you
the
Hopkins. They gave you your coach.
And the team reciprocates by stripping him down on social media. It's a divorce, bro. It's a modern
But the thing about it is,
divorce.
I don't know where it all went wrong. They gave you the coach.
Is again,
it's about branding. Let's lay this down. Let's lay this out from the team side. They gave you an offense that you familiar with a coach you familiar with, and he didn't play the whole season, but they went out and got you a number one receiver. On top of it, they went and got you Ertz. On top of it, on the defensive side, they went and got you player. Like, what is the team not doing to try to help you be? And you was winning. Like, where's your responsibility?
They weren't calling him enough, obviously. So I mean, he needs to go. I mean, there needs to be divorce, man. So divorce. They might bring Baker there, man. Might bring Baker there.
Help me out, young. Why is your generation so soft, man? Help me out.
He needs to suck it up. I mean, I said
you ain't done for your generation.
This is a tricky thing now because you got the intersection of the football culture, and I come from the old school. I'm a young guy. I came from the old school, but you got that kind of culture of there's no crying in baseball. Like what are you doing? But at the same time,
ain't no baseball. So he can't even go to baseball right now. He can't go to baseball. He can't threaten that right now.
It's a phrase.
It's a phrase.
But at the same time, you have the new generation of mental health awareness. You try to be sensitive to that kind of stuff. But man, you got sometimes you gotta you gotta have thick skin, especially in this game where you're called upon to do more.
All that leadership, it comes with a sense of responsibility, right? Heavy is the head or whatever that wears the crown.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Right. I mean, that's part of it. When you get the money, you getting all the accolades. You got it. It come with that stuff. When you fail in a big moment in the playoffs, it come with that. You just got to figure out. You got to go back, lick your wounds, and come back and do it. But you getting paid all that money. They've invested you. I mean, I would say it's not the same old Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals did everything they do to try to put you in. They can't account for Hopkins being injured, but for them to go out and get you would consider the best receiver in the league, and they then got you one of the top tight ends in the league. You can't say that they failing you. And then on the other side, they ensure that they got the right defense. There's some things you got to be able to carry your team to do. Like you got to
Baker, shoot,
you got to carry your team. Sometimes you got to step up and carry them over the.
He's not ready. He's not ready. He need to go
ready for prime time.
Right, that's a deal. Him for Baker, man. Put Baker with Kingsbury. That's what I do, man.
They might have to do something like that, but I don't know, man. That's something else. Now, Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, is almost like there might be a departure, but it's like it's a love affair.
He's staying in Green Bay. Bro.
That's right.
He ain't.
But is the money going to be right? Because the way they set the
money
deal
going to be right because they're going to defer the money over. These capologists. They have a guy specifically for the cap. They're going to give him his money, defer money. Again, he ain't going nowhere because they're going to franchise Devontae. So he ain't going nowhere, man. I mean, he ain't going nowhere. Where he going to go? I mean, again, he's not going to change the culture.
He can take Tom Brady's spot.
No, they're not going to mess with him in Tampa Bay. BA ain't going to deal with that bullshit. See my lane? They can deal with that mess. They have to cut. I mean, excuse me. They cut that out. They cut that out. But
I don't know how you can cut it out. We going live, baby. But that's okay. It's where we at. Real sports guys.
Well, I'm just saying, he ain't gonna deal with that mess, man. I mean,
we ain't on ABC. We on stream.
You're a prominent prima donna, man. Nah, I ain't dealing with that mess. So.
All right. Well, as we try to drop the mic, I want to give us each of a chance to reflect a little bit on the NFL season. What we'll start with Hammer. We'll come to Youngin, and I'll finish up.
Dropping the mic of the
Yeah,
season.
we're just gonna reflect on the NFL season. What
Yeah.
now that
Well,
we
I would
closing
say
out?
that again, it shows you that individuals don't make football, teams make football. So, Matthew Stafford, I give him props and I give McVay props. He believed in him. He knew he needed a skill set of a quarterback, not Jared Goff, who almost got beat out by John Wolford last year. But no, I'm happy for Stafford. He really showed why he was the first pick of the draft 13 years ago, and why Dog Nation is cut up all this year and been the king of football, college and pro now. And so I'm happy for Stafford. It's sad to see these haters is still now they hating on him, talking about he wouldn't have done without Cooper Kupp, and I can't believe this mess. They get these haters on Stafford, but you have haters. Haters gonna hate, but the bottom line is that he's got this. So hey, that's all you gotta say to the haters. And I think Matthew Stafford, I've always thought one of the best players in the league, finally got a team. It's a team sport, a team to win the championship with. And I'm happy for Matthew Stafford. Hope he can repeat. So yeah.
All right, Youngin.
All right, this season was an interesting one. But the Super Bowl showed us again that the trenches matter. I mean, the game is won and lost right there inside. You got a couple teams that really need offensive line help, and I think and going into this draft season, just like Carl's team, the Chicago Bears, just like the Cincinnati Bengals that's trying to rebuild. I think this year is a good year to need some offensive line because we got some guys coming out. You got Charles Cross in there. You got Evan Neal. You got Ike Ekwonu. On the guard side, you got Kenyon Green. You got Darian Kennard. You got guys like Zion Johnson. I think you'll be able to find something you like. And of course, I can't leave this segment without talking about Tyler Linderbaum. Tyler Linderbaum is a center that he has great agility. He can reach anybody. He's technically sound. He comes from that school over there at Iowa, where they really coach up their offensive linemen, and he's a good product of that. But I think this is a good year to need offensive line, and Teron Armstead is going to make a whole lot of money. He's a free agent this year, and I don't know if did they franchise him last year or something like that. I don't know if
he franchised last year, I think.
Yeah, so he's going to be a free agent now. So he's going to hit that market. The Bengals are going to be after him. The Bears are going to be after him. Whoever can get, he's going to drive that market up. And if you're one of those teams, you starting that turnover at the offensive line with Teron Armstead. You draft a good guard, and you're really changing the outlook of that team, especially if you're the Bengals. I think the Bengals they really commit to that offensive line this offseason. I'm not going to say they're going to be back in the Super Bowl, but they'll be able to compete for a very long time because the core of that roster is very young. I think they'll be able to bounce back from this and be able to be at the top of the league for the next 10 years or so. And that's pretty much what I got to say. This is Darnell. I'm dropping the mic.
All right. People all ask me when they find out from Michigan, they always, ask me, if I'm a Lions fan, and I would always say, no, I'm not a Lions fan. I was like, I would say, name a person who coached the Lions to go on and coach another team. Lions for a long time has been a place where people go to die, depart. I mean, you think about what happened to Megatron. You think about what happened to Barry Sanders. You think about having with Steve Mariucci, who, Steve left the 49ers, I believe, and then came over to coach the Lions, and everybody thought that was going to turn around. The Lions is a place where they drafted, three number one receivers in a row. I mean, it was gone on and on. Barry Sanders, Billy Sims, Dexter Bussey, Wayne Fonts. I mean, it goes on and on. And this guy, Stafford, he was trying to hold it together. Trying to be there, try to find a way to scratch out. And then he gets one opportunity. He gets the opportunity to go to to go west. Kind of like the Beverly Hillbillies. He went to the cement pond, and it was just good to see him win one. And the way he won it, the way in which he was humble about it, the way he still gave love back to the D, both him and his family, the important part of that. But to be able to realize this, the debates of him being a Hall of Famer or not doesn't really matter. But to see somebody come out of the ashes like a phoenix rising, right? To be able to have that opportunity tells you got to just chip away from it. And I hope someone like Kyler Murray understands that, realizes it, and embraces that he has the same opportunity to do the same thing as all these other young quarterbacks can say. If you stick to path, you stay with it, you can have an opportunity to get there someday. All right, till next time, that's dropping the mic here on RSG. Go check us out on Real Sports Guys and see what's going on. It's good for me to be here with my man, Darnell Kirkland Jr. and Carl Hampton. Peace.
Yes, today. Yes, today. As we start this show, this one mic. We hail. And boom. There is a pause throughout the stadium as this man sounds like he just coughs up a lung. Just looking around, the Jumbotron shows and pans the cheerleaders, and as it goes down each cheerleader's face, each one breaks up into laughter, which at this particular time destroys half the stadium. The other half is still trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Does this guy need CPR or something? And then at that particular time, I lost it. Devon Druck. Yes, today.
Blog Talk Radio.
Start this show, this one mic.
Phoenix is another place. They got a great training staff. They were able to breathe life back into Shaq. And if you can do that, people talk a lot about their training staff.
Blog.
Yes, today.